$99 per kilo, save $10 per kilo. Or lamb loin chops, only $12.99 per kilo, that's half price. And pork loin chops, $10.99 per kilo, you'll save $13 per kilo. You'll find these specials and a whole lot more only at Singer's.
It's Tank World's up to 50% off clearance sale. Save up to 50% off our entire range of round tanks from 1,000 to 47,750 litres. All stock must go 10 days only. Think Tank World. 1-800 68 69 70.
Meet my boyfriend, Jake.
What's up, everyone?
What is all over your feet?
They're flowers. I study botany.
Resting dad face back there likes plants too.
Grab some pruners. Let's prune.
Pocket even more savings at Bob Jane T-Marts. We've got Bridgestone free, Yokohama free, Kumho free. How? Simply buy 3 and the 4th tyres free. Get up to $150 instant cashback on selected tyres. Plus, receive an e-gift card up to $150 when you buy 4 selected BF Goodrich tyres. We won't be beaten with our best tyre price guarantee. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you.
Struggling to hear important conversations? Clever Hear Clear rechargeable hearing amplifiers are small, comfy and nearly invisible for a simple and discreet listening experience. Now you can hear clearer, connect better and feel more confident. Call 02 9387 4100, get to cleverrange.com.au. They come with a charging case, 24 months of customer care and a 120-day money-back guarantee. Call now or go online and don't miss out.
Join Energy Australia's Flexi Plan and get a $200 sign-up credit on your first electricity bill. Join Energy Australia online today or call 133 466.
Support for whatever life throws your way. Swiss, here life comes.
Could I do the Lucky Deluxe Ultra Wash, please?
Add some thrill to your wait with the thrill of a $40 million jackpot every 3 minutes. Keno Go. Download the app now.
All right, Jack, our bulgogi beef has been marinating away in the fridge, tenderising that beef. Smells amazing.
It looks good.
Yeah. So what we have to do now, I've got to fry it off. So I've got the pan nice and hot.
Yep.
I'm going to fry that off. In the meantime, can you slice up that spring onion?
Yep.
We need some that we're going to put in the spring rolls, but then some for the dipping sauce as well.
Easy done.
Thanks, Jack. Little drizzle of olive oil into our pan.
So how long do you need to fry the beef off for?
Literally probably 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, it's super fast, like a flash fry.
Yeah, because I cut the beef so thinly.
Yes.
It will cook in no time at all. And you got to remember, the beef will continue to cook when we're frying the spring rolls as well. So it's really just giving it a good fry and then taking it out. It's a sound you want to hear. So I'm just going to get all of that frying in our pan. If you've got a smaller frying pan, you could do this in batches, but I reckon I can get away with doing it in one.
Because you want a lovely crispy fry on it, yeah?
Yeah, you want to get a bit of caramelisation on it. All right, in the meantime, we need to make the dipping sauce. In our little bowl here, Jack, if you could put some of the spring onion and then the white sugar, all of it, dump it in.
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. And the sesame seeds.
Yep.
And the leftover gochujang, and then just some soy sauce and sesame oil. That's it, give that a little mix, and that'll be our nice dipping sauce for the spring rolls. Bulgogi beef mix has cooled down. If you try and use the hot beef mix on your spring roll wrappers, they're just going to fall apart.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you needed to cool it down first. We've got our spring roll wrappers here under a damp tea towel, just so they don't dry out, which is really important. And they're nice and delicate, so we just carefully peel one of our spring roll wrappers off onto our clean bench. We've got some vermicelli noodles here that we've just cooked, and we just want to get a little handful of our noodles, and we just spread them in the middle at the bottom. Then we have some kimchi.
Yum.
All right, fermented cabbage, absolutely gorgeous.
I do love what's going on here, but I really do just want to eat the beef with the kimchi on a bowl of rice.
I know. All right, and then some of our bulgogi beef on top. All right, and then just a little bit of these spring onions that you expertly sliced. Fold up the bottom over the edges, and then get it nice and tight and roly-poly.
So they're pretty decent size as well, aren't they?
Yeah, just run a little bit of water just to help act as glue to seal our spring rolls. There we go. Looks like I bought one.
Ooh.
All right, and then we'll pop them on here.
Some perfection to live up to there.
Let's put on some rap music. Let's get rapping. All right, crispy spring rolls. Let's cut one open and have a look.
They're very big.
They are.
They're like a serious serving of spring roll, aren't they?
That's a Tim size
spring
roll. I love a good chunky spring roll. Have a look. That is a hefty spring roll.
It sure is. It's also very hot, so I'm not going to put it in my mouth for another minute or two.
But to plate these up, I think with our little dipping sauce, just make a nice array of our spring rolls. So these are a decent meal. You couldn't eat them all by yourself. Should we have a little taste?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, just be careful, it will be hot. A little dip into the sauce.
Well, look. It's not every day of the week that I say I'm enjoying a spring roll, but one made by Timbo, I'm definitely making an exception for because it is really very, very delicious.
Very Moorish, very naughty.
Yeah.
That bulgogi beef is just next level.
It really is. It really is.
Have a go at making your own spring rolls at home. You will not be disappointed.
Definitely not.
We met at the Logies last year, didn't we?
Did we?
All right, we'll move on.
Sam's moving on with Ursula Carlson at the desk. Monday on 10.
Good afternoon. A Hunter man will appear in court today over his alleged role in a scheme to import 99 kilograms of methamphetamine from China. Australian Federal Police began an investigation in October last year when a parcel arrived in Sydney from China. Border Force officers allegedly detected methamphetamine valued at around $91 million hidden inside the boxes. The illicit substance was removed and the parcels were then delivered to a storage facility in Western Sydney. In January, officers allegedly watched two men access the parcels. They later executed a search warrant at a 39-year-old man's home in Raymond Terrace. He was charged with one count of attempting to possess a commercial quantity of a border-controlled drug and will face court today. The second man seen at the storage unit has not been charged. A man has been arrested after allegedly smashing into cars during a pursuit in Newcastle. Officers patrolling Hamilton tried to stop a Kia hatchback yesterday afternoon. A pursuit continued to Mayfield, where the driver allegedly clipped the side of a mirror of a truck on Maitland Road. Officers followed the vehicle to Newcastle West, where another vehicle was sideswiped. A short time later, the hatchback allegedly collided with a vehicle on Stewart Avenue in Hamilton East before the driver fled on foot. The man then allegedly led officers on a foot chase through a residential area before the 45-year-old was arrested on Corona Street. He was taken to Newcastle Police Station, where he's assisting police with inquiries. And a woman has died following a crash in Pecolbin. At around 2:30 this morning, emergency services were called to Broke Road. Police were told a vehicle left the road and crashed into a tree. A female passenger died at the scene. We'll have more More news later this afternoon.
Getting up to 80% of your eligible vet bills reimbursed with no excess to pay is all part of the RSPCA pet insurance feeling. Feel that, Bonnie? You can claim up to $20,000 a year, choose from 4 levels of cover, and you're helping support the amazing work of the RSPCA. Plus, buy now and you'll get 1 month free. Choose Australia's most trusted pet insurance today. Call 138548 or search RSPCA Pet Insurance.
I'm always looking for new soup recipes for my family at home. Like, we love a soup in my household. My kids especially, actually, and it's such a good way for me to get some veggies into them. So this is my potato and cauliflower soup recipe. So I'm just starting off by chopping up some cauliflower, which I'm just gonna roast on a tray, a little bit caramelized, just for that little bit of added flavor. So I'm now just adding in some chopped garlic. I'm just gonna sprinkle that just on the same tray. It's all gonna go into the soup later. We're gonna season it generously with some salt, some pepper, and then some olive oil. I'm gonna pop this in the oven now, 200 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. Let's get the onion in there straight away. And let that start sauteing off. Now, besides the miso, the real star of this soup is the potato. And I'm using a gorgeous charisma potato, about 500 grams. These potatoes are really universal, great for roasting, mash, beautiful in soups. So we're just gonna peel these potatoes, get them diced and into the pan with the onion. So my potatoes are in the stock now. I'm gonna add the coconut milk and the miso. So I'm just gonna let that now come to the boil, reduce to a simmer again. Let the potatoes really cook, essentially. And then at the end, I'm gonna add the cauliflower into this, just to bring it together for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna blitz it with a stick blender. Or if at home you've got a normal blender, let it cool slightly, just so it's not too hot, and then you can pop it in your blender and blitz to it smooth. And to finish this, I'm just gonna get a little bit of chives, just for that, that freshness. I love a little bit of onion pop as well. So we're gonna go ladle that in. And this is just, for me, it's a big bowl of comfort. So much goodness in there. Cauliflower as a garnish, some chopped chives, just a little bit of olive oil. Cauliflower, miso, potato soup. What more can you want?
We met at the Logies last year, didn't we?
Did we?
All right, we'll move on.
Sam's moving on with Ursula Carlson at the desk. Monday on 10.
I created you to clean and freshen our toilet every day.
But there's a better Bref way.
Bref Power Active. Every flush activates its power to keep your toilets clean and fresh 24/7. That's a must. Bref Power Active.
Yep, it's Tuesday.
If you've been thinking about funeral insurance, now's the moment to make today your Tuesday and call Choosie's award-winning team of choosers. Choosie's free comparison service helps you compare policies from a range of trusted funeral insurance brands, saving you time and effort. Protect your loved ones and make today your Tuesday. Go to choosie.com.au or call 13 57 68 to compare, choose and apply. When you're choosing funeral insurance, don't leave it to chance, leave it to Choosie.
Some people reckon this is the Aussie way.
Sure.
But at Aussie Broadband, we reckon there's a little more to it. Like actually helping a mate when they need it. Telling it straight without the BS. Go for the green. Always daring to do things differently with help from the latest tech. Flanness Flowers. High performance tech grounded in Australian values.
That's Aussie Broadband. That's the actual Aussie way.
With Cold Power's unique cold water enzyme, clothes live on and on.
The steel contestant worldwide is about to give the banker a run for his money.
He's sweating bullets out, banker!
Monday. I created you to clean and freshen our toilet every day.
But there's a better Bref way.
Bref Power Active. Every flush activates its power to keep your toilets clean and fresh 24/7.
That's a must.
Bref Power Active.
We finally bought our own home. It's a huge financial commitment that's taken years of saving. But we're excited. It's a space we can make our own. All we've ever wanted is to create a safe and secure future for Ava. So we did something simple to protect her financially, in case the worst ever happened to one of us. We got real life insurance.
Protect the ones you love by calling Real Insurance now. You can apply in a single phone call with no medical or blood test needed. And once covered, your family could receive a cash payment up to $2 million if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness or pass away. They may also receive 20% of your cover amount in advance while we assess the claim. And with our award-winning Australian-based team, claiming is stress-free. Get real life insurance now. It's simple financial protection from a company you can trust. For a quick quote, call 139 489 or search Real Life Insurance.
Easy on yourself.
It's lighter together.
Come here, come a little closer.
Small sedan.
I don't wanna hurt you. Little more, come
Big
here.
personality. The first ever Kia K4.
Kia, movement that inspires.
This autumn, make the Sunboost switch with the mega-selling 6.6 kilowatt premium home solar system with top-rated Tier 1 panels for an incredible $34.91 till March 31 only.
Get your energy bills reduced. Call 1300 Sunboost.
With Cold Power's unique cold water enzyme, clothes live on and on.
65 years ago, this bathroom was in style and this look was on fire. Today, these timeless classics are at unbeatable prices. Quality tiles up to 50% off with Beaumont's lifetime guarantee.
A tribal gamble will see a big player go.
This decision needs to be unanimous.
Survivor Sunday on 10.
Pocket even more savings at Bob Jane T-Marts. We've got Bridgestone free, Yokohama free, Kumo free. How? Simply buy 3 and the 4th tyres free. Get up to $150 instant cashback on selected tyres. Plus receive an e-gift card up to $150 when you buy 4 selected BF Goodrich tyres. We won't be beaten with our best tyre price guarantee. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you.
Meet my boyfriend, Jake.
What's up, everyone?
What is all over your feet?
They're flowers. I study botany.
Resting dad face back there likes plants too.
Grab some pruners. Let's prune.
I'm thrilled to celebrate Susan's milestone birthday. She's overjoyed that the whole family will be here with us. I only want what's best for her and our family, so I did something simple to make the difficult times easier. I got Real Funeral Insurance.
You can protect your loved ones financially by simply calling the award-winning team at Real Insurance now. If you're an Australian resident aged 40 to 79, you're guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health or lifestyle. Choose a cash benefit amount up to $15,000, which gets paid to your loved ones if you pass away. Or if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, 100% of the benefit gets paid directly to you. And you'll get 10% cash back of the premiums you've paid after 12 months. Get Real Funeral Insurance now. It's a simple way to help cover your funeral costs from a company you can trust. For a quick quote, call 139 138 or search Real Funeral Insurance.
Easy on yourself.
Support for whatever life throws your way. Swiss. Here life comes.
Good afternoon. Here's what's making news this Friday, the 28th of March. It's go time. Australia will head to the polls on May 3rd. Anthony Albanese's up early and calling the election. Christian White, the police officer accused of tasering 95-year-old Claire Nowland, avoids jail, despite a judge finding he made a flawed decision. A health scare for King Charles, the monarch hospitalised and cancelling events. And move over 007, Pierce Brosnan talks his new gangster series, Mobland.
This is 10 News First Lunchtime with Angela Bishop.
Good afternoon. Australians are off to the polls on May the 3rd. Anthony Albanese wasted no time waking up bright and early this morning and setting his election plan in motion. Albanese left the lodge just before sunrise, making the swift 7-minute journey to the Governor-General's residence. After about 25 minutes, he emerged and made his way to Parliament House to address the country.
Because of the strength and resilience that our people have shown, Australia is turning the corner. Now, on the 3rd of May, you choose the way forward. Your vote has never been more important, and your choice has never been more clear. This election is a choice between Labor's plan to keep building or Peter Dutton's promise to cut.
And unfortunately, Mr Albanese is too weak and Labor is too incompetent to fix the problems that they've created and that are facing our country today. We can't afford 3 more years like the last 3. There is a better way for our country, and my team and I have a practical plan which will deliver cost of living relief and lower power prices into the future.
Let's bring in our network political editor, Ashley Raper now. Ashley, we've got a date, so what happens now?
Well, there's now a 5-week campaign, Angela, and the Prime Minister has started day one early, as you said, leaving the lodge at dawn. Peter Dutton has been in his home city of Brisbane for the start. From now, both leaders will traverse the country in a very targeted way, hitting the marginal seats in each state. We know this election is going to be close. The polls are telling us that. So how both leaders campaign will be crucial to their success. On the ground in suburban electorates, the overwhelming sentiment I'm hearing is that while some voters are disappointed in the government in a cost of living crisis, on the whole, they're not extremely angry and looking to punish the government. So it makes for a contest to capture those voters. They're wide open to be convinced which party they think will be best for them. But we are looking like the election result will end with minority government, neither side getting the majority needed.
What are likely to be the sticking points of this election?
We're heading to an election off a budget this week, and what's emerged from that is 2 competing pledges. The Albanese government with a promise of 2 tax cuts, adding a mere extra $10 in an average earner pocket in 2 years' time, versus the opposition promising to halve the fuel excise and bring down fuel prices by about $14 a week for 1 year. A Dutton government would deliver that cost of living relief instead of the tax cuts, which Labor has seized on, saying taxes will be higher under the coalition. But the election won't be fought on just those two policies. Energy is front and centre, with the opposition leader Peter Dutton announcing last night an East Coast gas reserve to direct more gas into the domestic market to get power prices down. How that will actually work in practice is unclear. And overall in energy, there's pushing with renewable energy under Labor or the coalition's nuclear plan. The Albanese government wants to make health a key focus in this campaign, while the coalition wants the attention on national security and defence. And like every campaign, there are issues specific to areas like salmon farming in Tasmania, live sheep exports in Perth and wind farms off the coast of New South Wales.
Are there any seats in particular you'll be watching closely?
Yes, and they always are, and there's too many to go through right now. But in Melbourne, we'll be there a lot, I think, during the campaign. There's a bank of seats, often referred to as the Red Wall, but they're held by Labor. But the Labor brand there in Victoria isn't what it was. It's been damaged by the state Labor government, which is on the nose. In Sydney, there are always marginal seats, but just north and south of the city, seats like Gilmore and Patterson could be lost by Labor. Western Australia is a state to watch after handing Labor the election last time, and then we'll watch whether the Teal independents can retain their seats and whether any new seats will be picked up by independents if voters continue the trend of moving away from the major parties. Angela.
Thanks, Ashley. Ashley Raper and our entire Canberra team will have comprehensive coverage on your local 10 News First at 5 tonight and right throughout the election campaign. And later in the news hour, we'll hear from the Electoral Commissioner with all the key dates and information you need to make your vote count. To the day's other news, the police officer who fatally tasered a 95-year-old aged care resident has walked free from court, despite being found guilty of manslaughter. National Affairs Editor Hugh Riminton joins me now from the New South Wales Supreme Court. And Hugh, an extraordinary and extremely distressing case. What happened today?
Yeah, I think everyone remembers this case. Police officer at the time, Christian White, tasered 95-year-old Claire Nowland in a Cooma aged care facility. She was wandering around with her walker carrying a steak knife when he tasered her. She fell to the ground and died in hospital 7 days later. Well, he was found guilty of manslaughter. The judge today deciding that he did show an error of judgment and made a terrible mistake. But at the same time, the judge said he had shown remorse and was a low chance of reoffending. As a consequence of that, the former Constable Christian White was able to walk free from the court. He's been given a community correction order. He will be required to serve 425 hours of community service. His wife wept in court as she realised that her husband would not be going to jail, but there were tears and also anger from members of Claire Nowland's family. They spoke outside the court. Here's what they had to say.
It was really disappointing for the family because it was, well, a slap on the wrist for someone that's killed our mother. I mean, that letter of remorse, it was put to the court 2 days before the sentencing hearing, you know, so that's no remorse in that.
Now, the family says it hopes that the Director of Public Prosecutions will consider appealing this decision not to give a non-custodial order to Christian White. The judge said he took into account the fact that if he was to order White off into prison, because he's a former police officer, he would have to be kept effectively in protective custody inside the prison. That was a factor in keeping him out of jail. So Christian White returns with his family to Cooma, but he told the court at an earlier hearing that it is intention at the first opportunity to leave the region of Cooma in southern New South Wales because members of the Nowland family are still there, and he says he no longer feels welcome in that town.
Thanks, Hugh. An Indigenous man riding an e-bike has been hit and killed by a police officer attempting to pull him over in Sydney. It's alleged he was in possession of thousands of dollars worth of drugs and cash. Samara Gardner has more.
Police had been in the process of pulling over this 48-year-old Indigenous e-bike rider at about 3 a.m. this morning when this crash has occurred. Exactly how the collision came to be is still not clear, as police believe both the bike and the car were in the process of stopping. It's also not clear exactly why the rider had come to police attention, although police have said they've found a considerable amount of drugs fines, about $30,000 to $40,000 worth on the man. Both the police officer involved in the crash and then paramedics worked to save the rider's life, but very sadly he died at the scene.
Immediately rendered assistance and called for further assistance, and despite ambulance and police best efforts, he was not able to be revived. An independent command will come and investigate this matter. It will be oversighted by the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission as well as our Professional Standards Command.
Police are right now looking for CCTV as there was no camera attached to the police car involved in this incident. Body cam footage was also not being recorded as the police officer involved in the crash was behind the wheel at the time. He is yet to be formally interviewed, but that will happen as a critical incident investigation gets underway. As for the rider who has died, his family is right now in the process of being notified.
Samara Gardner there. A helicopter has gone down in rural Western Queensland as regional towns brace for record flooding. Pippa Sheehan joins us from our Queensland newsroom. Pip, have the pilot and passenger been rescued?
And thankfully, yes, they have, and they are both safe and well. It's understood that this pilot was actually conducting private rescues using a helicopter usually used for mustering when they came into some difficulty on takeoff as he was trying to rescue someone from Ada Vale. Around 28 people in total have been rescued from that town and moved to nearby Quilpie, around 100 kilometres away. Now, what happened is, we understand, the helicopter took off, they came into some difficulty and came down. They were forced to make that emergency rescue. The pilot found 3 kilometres downstream, clinging to a tree, and the passenger fortunately rescued nearby to the helicopter. Now, in Junda, some residents have been moved to higher ground already, and there is a plan to evacuate them if need be. Towns including Eromanga, Windora and Stonehenge are being badly affected already. Landholders are already reporting stock losses, significant stock losses, and damage to their properties. Many stations and towns, now inland islands, phone service is very patchy at best. I spoke to the Deputy Mayor of Thargomindah a short time ago. He was there when horrific flooding swept through in 1974. He's hoping, as are so many of the towns around here, that the towns aren't impacted badly, and they're calling for state and federal help, with this being one of the most significant floods in living memory for many people in the area.
We could have more support. I think our flood will probably go on for 3 weeks at home there, we're going to be cut off, especially in these big disasters when they know they're coming,
And the nature of the soil and land out in those areas means that those floodwaters are likely to stick around for some time. And as you heard from the Deputy Mayor, it's likely some towns will be cut off for a number of weeks.
Thanks, Pippa. While Anthony Albanese was announcing his election plans, King Charles made an announcement of his own, the monarch revealing a hospital visit after suffering side effects from his ongoing cancer treatment. Buckingham Palace says he's now recovering at home, but the King has been forced to clear his diary.
This was the King on Wednesday, seemingly well and upbeat, visiting an exhibition about a cause close to his heart. But just a day later, Charles took a turn, with Buckingham Palace confirming he had to be hospitalised, saying following scheduled and ongoing medical treatment for cancer, the King experienced temporary side effects that required a short period of observation in hospital. It's understood those side effects were temporary and not uncommon. The King was eventually able to return home to recover, with his events for the afternoon cancelled. King Charles also cleared his diary for Friday, meaning a planned visit to Birmingham will no longer go ahead. The 76-year-old was diagnosed with cancer in February last year and has been undergoing treatment ever since. Royal sources say there is no cause for alarm, with the King expected to make a full recovery and return to royal duties next week. John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First, London.
Coming up today on 10 News First lunchtime, a tourist submarine sinks in Egypt, killing at least 6. Why a BBC correspondent has been detained and deported from Turkey. And at least 5 injured in a stabbing attack in Amsterdam.
Has us all the news you need with 10 News First lunchtime and the latest developments at 3:30. Then to get the full story, switch on Sandra at 5 for your local Sydney news.
This Wednesday marks 25 years since Putin was elected president of Russia.
Big fan, big fan.
Big surprise you're a fan. You dressed like one of his generals tonight.
Monday nights are for Sam Pang fans.
We met at the Logies last year, didn't we?
Did we?
All right, we'll move on.
Sam Pang's moving on with Ursula Carlson at the desk.
Can't come soon enough.
Don't miss it. Monday on 10 and 10 Play.
Ultra cheesy mozzarella sticks. Pickers, let's get silly.
Come here, come a little closer. Don't
Small sedan.
I don't wanna hurt you. Little more, come
Big personality. The first ever Kia K4.
Kia, movement that inspires.
This is an urgent message from the Smith family. Times are tough, and there's no doubt a lot of Australians are feeling it. More and more people are experiencing poverty, and the impact it's having on children is worrying. I see it every day. Low-income families are amongst the hardest hit, and children's education is at risk. Right now, there are 15,000 Australian children waiting for sponsors to support their education. Many of these children will be going without the essentials and extra learning support they need. We urgently need sponsors for every one of these 15,000 children. Please go online or call 1800 572 124 to sponsor a child with the Smith family. Your sponsorship will make the world of difference to a child. Please go online or call now.
Wherever you live and whenever you want, Free TV brings you the best Australian television, local news, entertainment, drama and live sport. Our programming and advertising is guided by the Commercial Television Industry Code of Practice to meet community standards and help viewers make more informed choices about their viewing. A copy of the code can be found on the Free TV website, or you can write or call us for more information. Free TV, Australian, trusted, free.
The oldest deal contestant worldwide is about to give the banker a run for his money.
He's sweating bullets out, banker.
Monday.
Welcome back. 6 people have been killed after a tourist submarine sank in Egypt's Red Sea. 45 passengers were on board the vessel, along with 5 staff members, when it began to sink. Those killed are all believed to be Russian. All other passengers have been rescued, with 4 in a critical condition in hospital. A BBC reporter has been detained and deported from Turkey while covering protests which have gripped the country. The Turkish government said correspondent Mark Lowen was a threat to public order. Demonstrations have swept the nation since the arrest of Istanbul's mayor and main rival to President Tayyip Erdogan. According, close to 1,900 people have been arrested during that time. 5 people have been left seriously injured in a stabbing spree in Amsterdam. The incident took place in Dam Square outside the Dutch Royal Palace. An American couple, a woman from Belgium and a Polish man were among the injured. A man's been arrested. His motive remains under investigation. Vladimir Putin will die soon. That's according to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Zelensky made the comments during a TV interview earlier this week where he urged allies not to lift sanctions against Russia. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen spoke after a summit in Paris, confirming sanctions wouldn't be lifted and that the coalition of the willing had become bigger, stronger and very determined.
The first was a broad discussion on how to step up in the support for Ukraine in the short term, financially and military-wise, the military needs that are there in Ukraine that have to be fulfilled, but also the financial needs.
French President Emmanuel Macron said reassurance forces from a group of European nations could be sent to Ukraine in the event of a peace treaty with Russia. Back here, and a baby is fighting for life after the 1-year-old and its uncle were hit by a car in Sydney's west. Tragically, the uncle was killed while the baby was left in a critical condition. Emma Olsen is in Mount Druitt for us. Emma, the family has returned to the scene this morning.
That's right, and as you'd expect, the family is incredibly heartbroken. They've been here this morning laying flowers and paying their respects to their loved one who has passed. Now, right behind me on Carlisle Avenue, tragedy struck just before 8 p.m. last night. A 47-year-old man was carrying his 20-month-old child, nephew across the road when a car hit him. He threw the baby just before being hit, while the father watched on in horror. Quickly after, the father convinced a driver of another car to rush him and his child to hospital, while the uncle lay on the road while neighbours performed CPR. Unfortunately, when paramedics arrived at